Hey everyone, my name is Nina Rossi from Know Before You Go Inc. and welcome to my YouTube channel, a place where knowing your numbers will get you out of debt so that you can raise your credit score, live a life that you love, create a legacy that you're proud of, and build an estate worth leaving behind. I'm a licensed funeral director with over 10 years, and I've already been through the tragedy of having my excellent credit destroyed. So I know what it feels like, and I also know what it takes to get yourself out of the situation you're currently in. Right now is the best time to do so because of the pandemic. So the resources I'll be sharing with you are going to be extremely helpful in making sure that that happens for you. So when we talk about in this video specifically, it's going to be geared towards those of you who have a clean credit report. And specifically, the topic today is trade lines. And we're going to talk about what they are, how you can use them, and what benefits actually will come from you using them. Specifically, today's video is going to be geared towards those of you who have a clean credit report already, meaning that you have no late payments, you have no negatives, no charge-offs, no collections, or any of the like. This means you have a completely clean credit report from all three bureaus. This video is also going to be for those who are actually looking to make a rather large purchase in the upcoming months. And what I mean by that is a new car or a new home or something to that effect, where it's a very large purchase and you need your credit score boosted by a certain amount of points in order to get approved for that large purchase. So this video is for those of you as well. However, that doesn't mean you can't still benefit from using a trade line. But I will tell you, those of you who do not have a clean credit report will not really truly benefit from using a trade line. So you need to have a clean report first before you can introduce a trade line onto it and have it be beneficial. So you want to make sure that if we're adding trade lines to your credit report, that they're going to be benefiting you rather than not. So let's get started. So what's a trade line? And basically, a trade line is anything or any type of account that gets put onto your credit report. And it gets reported to the three bureaus. So these accounts include ones with authorized users, which is what we will be discussing specifically today, individual accounts or revolving accounts, installment accounts. And like I said, for today, we're going to stick with just the authorized users and trade lines, because that's really what I want to focus on in this video. So, like I said, when it comes to a trade line, what is it? Basically, it's any account that shows up on your credit report. So that means if you have a credit card with Chase, that's a trade line. If you have a credit card with Bank of America, that's another trade line. However, you may see more trade lines than you do accounts. So for someone who has, let's just say, hold on one second, let's see. So someone who, let's just say, you have a credit card that you lost. So in this example, you would call the credit card company up and you would tell them that you lost your credit card and you need them to issue you a new one. That transition from one credit card number to a new credit card number is input as a separate trade line. So even though it's technically on the same account, it shows up as two different trade lines. Likewise, if you have, let's just say, a credit card or debt that gets transferred to a collection agency, that transition from one company to another is also reflected as two separate trade lines. Another example of that would be ABC credit card sold the debt that I had to ABC Collections. That will show up as two separate inquiry or inputs into your credit report. And before we continue on, I want to make sure that you guys know it's really, really important that you've already pulled all three of your credit reports from the bureaus. And the best way that I can suggest that you do that would be using a company that I also use personally, and they're called Identity IQ, which I'll have the link below so you can actually take a look at it, sign up, and it monitors all three of your reports all in one place, tells you if anything changes, and you're able to see and print out all three bureaus in one spot, which is huge because there's not a lot of places that do that. Not only that, but Identity IQ also tells you the suggested ways to improve your credit score, meaning it's going to tell you exactly what kinds of trade lines you should be adding to your report to benefit you. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go on, though. So when it comes to an authorized user, there's something that we call piggybacking. And basically what that means is that you have now taken someone else's excellent credit history and put it on your report. So all their payments were made on time without any sort of late payments, and it has been aged over the last, few years. So when it comes to trade line, it will always have more value to actually put age versus credit limit onto your report, especially when it comes to an authorized user versus a primary account. So let's talk a little bit about an authorized user and what that actually means. So an authorized user is someone who is put onto your credit report. So let's say I have a credit card that I've had open for the last 15 years, and I want to put Kimberly on my credit report. What happens is they piggyback off of my excellent credit history. So for the 15 years that I've had that card, now gets reflected onto Kimberly's credit report, thereby allowing her to boost her score drastically and rather quickly. So that is technically what an authorized user would be. Kimberly does not get a copy of my credit card for her usage, so that protects me. And it doesn't affect my credit report because hers isn't being reflected on mine. It's just that one account is being mirrored onto her credit report. So she actually gets all the benefits of me having excellent credit history as if it was her own credit history, which is why I say that it's much more important to take into consideration age rather than limit. However, you do want a healthy mix, and we'll also talk about that. So what they look for is something called a progressive or aged account that over time has improved when it comes to limit. So the person who's piggybacking off of me is going to want to make sure that they add probably more than one authorized user to their report. Most often, because it's not just one type of authorized user, you'll need to boost your score up. Like I said, you're going to need that healthy mix. And what they would consider a healthy mix is a progressively aged account starting from the most amount of years with the least amount of limit. So for example, 15 years of the card being opened with a $2,000 limit. And then as time went on, I now have a card that's been open for only 3 years, but it has a $15,000 limit. So you could see that over time, I became more and more responsible when it came to money and being lent money from banks. When creditors see that, they basically think that that's fantastic, and you're more likely to get approved because it shows how you've grown over time and become a responsible borrower. So Kimberly cannot make any purchases on my card. She's not authorized to do that. The only thing that's going to happen is that my excellent credit history will get copied onto her credit report for her score to be boosted. Now, when it comes to the benefits of having an authorized user, if you know someone in your family who has excellent credit, I highly suggest that you ask them to be added as an authorized user. When they call up the credit card company and they put you as an authorized user, you will then have it reflected on your credit report. If you know the person, odds are they're not going to take you off, and it would be pretty much indefinitely. So as long as that person kept up with any sort of payments and has excellent history and keeps that, you'll be benefiting. The minute they get on a late payment, you're going to be tanking with them. So that's the only downfall when it comes to that, because the minute they screw up their credit, if yours is being copied, then yours would also get screwed up because of their mistake. So when it comes to actually benefiting from it, I would keep Kimberly on indefinitely because there's no reason for me to take her off. However, let's just say she were to get a professional trade line, which are ones that you can purchase from an outside source, which I get a list of every single month. So if that's something that you would like to do, I highly suggest that you do so probably by around the 21st of the month. I would get new ones in, but at any time you can, of course, check and see what I've got. However, the only downfall to purchasing a professional trade line, which is someone who already has excellent credit history, that is allowing you to piggyback off of them, but only for about 45 to 60 days. It's a professional trade line. It's not going to last forever. But this is what I mean by this video was geared towards those of you looking to make a large purchase, simply because all you need is the boost, make your purchase, and then it doesn't matter if it goes back down. You've already gotten the house or the car or the boat that you wanted, so you're fine. So those of you who are looking to make a large purchase, if you time it properly, meaning if you know that Bank of America posts their cards at the 30th of the month, but then it doesn't get reported to the bureaus till the second or third of the next following month, well, what happens is if you make sure that you make this purchase on the 28th, or you should give it 3 days, on let's just say the 25th, then you know by the time you get to the 30th, it's already going to be posted onto the credit card. And then by the time the 3rd of the month comes around, it's already reflected. So you're looking at just a few days' time when it comes to boosting your score up pretty tremendously. This tip is probably so helpful because that is going to allow you the fastest way, hands down, to boost up your credit score in a short amount of time. I've known clients of mine to have done it within 3-4 days' time because they knew how to time it accurately. And for those of you who can't keep up with all the things that I'm saying, or you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're going to want to either A, sign up for my course, so this way I can walk you through the process from beginner to intermediate to advanced, slowly over time. Because if you don't know what a trade line is, none of this information is helpful to you. But for those of you who are still with me, you're going to want to check out and download my cheat sheet for this trade lines down below. I'll have a link for you to download that for free. This way you can refer back to all the things that we're discussing in this video and you have reference material to go back to. Now, with that being said, Identity IQ is something you want to use so you can monitor your credit. I'll have the cheat sheet available for you as a resource. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, there will also be a link for you to take my course. Moving along. Now, those are some of the cons about having a trade line that's professional. It just doesn't last forever, but that's okay because you need it to do a specific task, and that's exactly what it's for. Now, moving forward, let's talk about my top 5 banks that I would suggest you use a professional trade line with. And those are as follows. My very, very top one would be Bank of America, hands down. And the top five that I'm about to give you, the reason why these banks are my top five is because of the fact that when they report to the credit bureaus, they report using your social security number, and that guarantees that it'll show up on your credit report. Because sometimes I get calls from people and they said nothing posted to my credit report, and that's because they use the banks like Chase, Synchrony Bank, or not Capital One, TD Bank or something like that. And those banks, they don't use your social security number in order to report to the bureaus. What they use is more like a public record or address. So in that case, you would have to then make sure that in your credit report, you have the same address as the person who's putting you as an authorized user in order for it to get posted. So you're much better off skipping that extra step and going with one of my top five, which are number 1, Bank of America. Number 2, Navy Federal. Number 3, Discover. Number 4, Capital One. And number 5, U.S. Bank. Okay? Again, that is Bank of America, Navy Federal, Discover, Capital One, and U.S. Bank. They all use your social security number to report to the bureaus, which means it's guaranteed to post and show up. All this information is really, really, really important for you guys, especially if you're looking to boost your score. So don't forget that I have free resources in the bottom, so just hit where the description is, otherwise you're not going to see them and you're not going to be able to utilize it. So make sure you check that out because you're going to want to refer back to this information because it's really helpful, especially right now. I know a lot of people who are looking to get a new home, a new car, because they need a new job and they can't drive to work because they don't have a car to drive in. You know, this pandemic has really done a lot for people, both negatively and positively. Positively because you can still utilize all the resources they're allowing in order for you to come back from it. Before they take this away, take advantage of the fact that you can piggyback off of someone's excellent credit history. Now, when it comes to having the authorized user put on, what we discussed was that it would be in your benefit to get someone you know to be adding you onto it. But if you can't, there are professional ones that you can do. As a recap, let's go over everything that we learned from today's video. So, a trade line is any account that shows up on your credit report. Again, we said that more than one trade line could show up for a single debt. If it gets transferred to another company, it would be reflected as a new entry or trade line. An authorized user is someone who can piggyback off of your excellent credit history. They cannot make purchases on your behalf or create any more new debt. However, they get to copy or mirror your excellent credit history on their own report, thereby allowing them to boost their score tremendously. When it comes to an authorized user, you want to make sure that you actually know the person because you can stay put on there indefinitely. However, if you don't, you can purchase a professional trade line in which you could be added on temporarily for about 45 to 60 days. Now, when it comes to piggybacking in an authorized user, you want to make sure that you currently have a clean credit report, meaning there are no charge-offs, no late fees, no collections, no derogatory marks of any kind. Otherwise, putting a professional trade line as an authorized user will not help you very much at all. You need a clean report in order for this to truly, truly benefit your report and boost your score. Again, like I said before previously, this is for those of you who are looking to make a large purchase in the upcoming months and need to make sure their score is boosted by a certain amount of points so that they can make that purchase, like a new home or a new vehicle, etc. When it comes to having a professional trade line, the best ones to go for and the key to remember is simply that age will always have more value than limit will. The reason for that is they want to see that over years you have improved in your responsibility as a borrower. And when it comes to an authorized user, since it's not your own primary account and you're authorized on someone else's, age is going to be more important than limit. The best way to go about choosing trade lines would be to have more age. So, for example, 15 years with a $2,000 limit, and then progress towards having $15,000 limit, but a card that's only been open for 3 years. That shows over time we've improved in our sense of responsibility. And creditors like that much more. And also, like I said, the credit monitoring service that I personally use and I highly recommend is something called Identity IQ, which we will also have down in the description. And that is a credit monitoring service that I use because it reports all 3 bureaus in one location and keeps track of it. And every single month you get an update on all 3 bureaus. This way you can print out your actual report, see what's on it, because you can't fix your credit if you don't know what's in your report. As well as I'm going to be providing all of you guys with a cheat sheet that has all of the information we discussed today so that you can have it easily accessible and to your advantage right in front of you, as well as including a link for my course that you can sign yourself up for. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, you need a credit education because, like I said in the beginning of my video, there's no better time than now to fix your credit and get yourself out of debt. There's a lot of things that they're allowing, and before they get rid of this, let's make sure we get on this bandwagon. And last but not least, my top 5 banks, once again, were Bank of America, Navy Federal, Discover Card, Capital One, and USA Bank. All right, guys, this is my video all about trade lines, authorized users. I know this information is very, very helpful and completely priceless when it comes to how much value you just got from that. Those of you who are looking to make a purchase and would like a professional trade line, please reach out and contact me. You can contact me via Facebook, WhatsApp. You can even give me a call at the number that would be listed below. This way we can set you up with a trade line and get you that house or that car or whatever boat that you would like to purchase, maybe even a plane. Who knows? But if it's a plane, I would like to fly someplace too. So keep me in mind, and thank you guys for watching. This is Know Before You Go Inc. and my little special corner on the internet where I help you guys get your shit back in order and your life together. Again, my name is Nina, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.